Every day, millions of people go online to search for local businesses. Does your small business show up? When you create a website on WordPress.com, you make it easier for your customers to find you, to connect with you, to hear how you can help them. Your business needs an online home. It needs a WordPress.com website. You don't need experience setting up websites. WordPress guides you through the process from start to finish. They take care of the technical stuff, so it's easy to get your site up and running. Their customer support team is made up of WordPress experts eager to help you get the most from your site. They're available to help 24 hours a day, Monday through Friday, and weekends. Plans start at just $4 a month, and all WordPress plans include a custom domain name for the life of the plan. Come see why 28% of all websites run on WordPress. Get started today with 15% off any new plan purchase. Go to WordPress.com/Golic to create your website and find the plan that's right for you. That's WordPress.com/Golic for 15% off your brand new website. WordPress.com/Golic.
Great news. There's a quick way you can save money. Switch to Geico. Geico could help you get great coverage at a great price. And it only takes 15 minutes to see if you could save 15% or more on car insurance. Go to Geico.com today and see how much you could save.
Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome in to another edition of Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. We are presented by Progressive Insurance. All phone guests will join us via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Trey Wingo, Mike Golic Jr. Guys, it's not just a Monday. It's the Monday of Super Bowl week. Woohoo!
Yes, it is. And
yeah,
it's the Monday after the Grammys.
Yeah.
So
okay.
there
you bet.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
I really, I have one thing on this because I was asked, I watched the Grammys, I was tweeting a little bit about it. I said I was switching back and forth because somebody rightfully tweeted me on AMC last night was Armageddon.
Oh, yeah.
So of course
we're doing this again.
Of course I was going back and forth with one of the greatest movies of all time.
My mom was slandering that movie, by the way, in our
I know
family
she was.
group text.
I know she was.
Have never been more concerned about the woman that birthed me in my life.
Defies more space laws than any other movie out there. But my point is, I've always said for one day, if I wanted to be the athlete I wanted to be LeBron. I wanted to feel to be that great of an athlete for one day to be able to do what he does. And in the entertainment world, I want to dance like Bruno Mars.
You want to dance with somebody?
I want to dance like Bruno Mars. That man... Okay, won 3 Grammys, I think.
Won 6.
He won 6?
Bruno Mars won 6 Grammys.
Why did I see a headline on
night?
TV where he only won 3? They had it wrong. And did Kendrick Lamar won 5? I think.
Kendrick Lamar. Yeah, both of them had huge nights. Crushed it.
Bruno Mars dancing. The dude floats. Yeah. Now he's a tiny man.
Yes.
I understand that. But wow, I mean, really, I'd like to dance like him for one day, even though I think I would hurt myself.
But it would be worth it.
Yeah, it
would totally
really
be worth it.
It'd be in traction for a while, but I would say, man, you look good.
The debate we've always had, because I thought Bruno's Super Bowl halftime show at Super Bowl 48 was just off the charts good.
I agree.
It was amazing. Would you rather be Bruno or Justin Timberlake?
Well, you'd rather be Justin because he can golf.
He's like a 2 square. He's like a 2. He's like, I throw in all the stuff, and by the way, I can light it up at Pebble Beach with Steph Curry.
Justin can move as well.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about that.
I think Bruno's like the
There's
modern...
no wrong answer.
Yeah, I agree.
Bruno is the iteration of Justin Timberlake that we had when Friends with Benefits came out. And he was acting and singing and doing all these things. That was the height of versatile JT. We're at the height of versatile Bruno. If you told me we gave Bruno Mars a Vegas-style residency on the Super Bowl halftime show until he died, I would sign up for that in a heartbeat.
I agree.
Because he can do everything. We were having the debate this morning. Would you rather be able to have his voice or his dancing ability? And then I realized you could throw his ability to play musical instruments, and we're asking for one, and he gets all of them. Every day.
I think you're shorting JT's versility now. I think you just.
Oh, I'm not.
You
I'm
just said he peaked, and he's not really that versatile anymore.
Well, he's not as popular anymore.
Well, he's not as popular anymore.
Like even when his new album has come out now, and we'll see how that picks up because it really just dropped. But Bruno Mars has been that guy for a minute right now. Like it is Bruno's time.
I love the fact you're saying he's peaked. He's doing halftime of the Super Bowl. JT is.
I'm not. I mean, listen, but if you're going to argue that JT's peak wasn't around then,
he's still not at the top
it's a great
of his career.
peak. He gets
not giving you that one.
Nope, it's a great peak, but it is Bruno's game right now.
You think Justin still as popular as he was when he was at his height?
I have no idea.
Oh, and by the way, I would take Bruno's.
Isn't that conflict in what we're going for? Line in the sand.
I would take Bruno's. The dancing.
That's what we said too. I said the Grammys is just interesting because you think about it for us in the world of sports. Like take like the ESPYs. You couldn't get up there and ask guys to have a football game in the middle of the ESPYs and perform that, or start a pickup hoops game in the middle of that, but you can have a musical performance in the middle of the Grammys. You can quite literally do the thing that got you nominated. No other award show outside of Tony's Twitter came after me last night. You can do it at the Tonys.
The Tonys and like the
like a pie eating
country
contest.
Music Awards. They
well, yeah, any sort of musical award show. But I'm talking about the big ones, like the EGOT ones. When you look at the Emmys and the Oscars,
where
and
you can actually
like that.
do what you doing on stage that got you the award.
The Grammys and the Tonys are uniquely positioned. Whereas, like, I look in our world of sports and say, "There's no way we could do that." You could never ask guys to go out there and try and do that. The best we can do is cut a highlight and hope it holds.
Yeah, that's true.
My favorite thing about all of that was, and that's where you lost me, we couldn't have a football team come up and do a game at the middle of the ESPYs.
You couldn't.
It'd be difficult.
It'd be a logistical nightmare.
Very, very difficult.
Gotta be honest,
a lot of waivers to be signed.
I did not think at 6:04 that's where we would be going
and
this morning.
The hitting would be as hard as the Pro Bowl hitting.
There was hitting?
Unless you're in the last 2 minutes.
When the double the cash is on the line. It's amazing when there's an actual game broke out, when you realize what Patrick Peterson said, I got 40 relatives here. That's when he's looking at that hotel, but I really need to win this game.
Need the winning share.
Need to win this share. Yeah. Otherwise, this is a losing week for me.
By the way, I've got the key. If you want to talk about what makes the Pro Bowl weekend more interesting, I've got my one tip to save them all. I know how we can make the weekend the best version possible.
And it is a good one.
That's a tease.
Yeah.
We'll get to that, I promise you.
Yeah.
By the way, we're here now, but in a couple of days we won't be.
No, we won't.
We're going to be on the road in Minneapolis for Super Bowl 52 and Golic and Wingo on the road. We'll be in the zone in Minnesota. Brought to you by AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. We got great guests coming up for you today. New head coach of the New York Football Giants, Pat Shurmur, will join us. Jay Billis, our college basketball analyst, will help us sort of delve through what's going on with Michigan State, which has evolved into so much more after Larry Nassar, thankfully, is sentenced and gone forever. But there's a lot of questions after the OTL report at Michigan State, and how do we parse all that and what happens? Jay to join us at 7:30. Pam Shriver, one of our great tennis analysts, will join us to talk about Roger Federer doing it again.
Yes, he is.
At the age of 36, winning his 20th Grand Slam. He's now won 3 of the last 5 after a 4-year drought, which is remarkable. And we can get into this discussion of what's more impressive, what Roger is doing at 36 or what Brady is doing at 40 in a team sport. It's really quite an interesting comparison. Damian Woody will join us at 8:30. He knows what it's like to go there and get through all of this in a Super Bowl week with the Patriots. He'll share his thoughts on both. And then a really interesting conversation coming away in the 9 o'clock hour. Ken Rogers, the director of the new 30 for 30 film, The Two Bills, will join us. I've seen it twice already. We got an advance copy.
It is something.
It is unbelievable.
2 headstrong guys when Belichick was on the staff with Bill Parcells.
And to see the evolution of Belichick from then to now and how he sort of handled it, it's really fascinating. It's a fascinating dynamic. We'll get into all of that. Again, he'll join us at 9 o'clock. That premieres, February 1st, guys? Isn't that when the Two Bills comes on February 1st? Isn't that when it is? Thursday, yeah. Or Thursday.
Either way.
Some people might call that Thursday
some call
in the
February
common
1st. Some call it Thursday.
There you go.
Either way, so we'll have all that for you. But let's start this show 6 minutes late with what we normally do.
It's time for Off the Top.
Whether you like it or not, it's just beginning.
With Golic and Wingo.
All right, we start with the conclusion of the men's final at the Australian Open as Roger Federer took down Marin Cilic in the Australian Open final on Sunday to notch his 20th Grand Slam, his 20th. He's the 4th tennis player and first male tennis player to win at least 20 majors, joining Margaret Court, Serena Williams, and Steffi Graf.
Yeah, Margaret Court is one ahead of Serena, so we'll see how Serena comes back after giving birth to her first child. Court 24, Serena 23, Steffi Graf 22, and now Roger at 20. I mean, it is really impressive what he's doing, as you mentioned, at 36 years old. Ken Rosewell is the only one who won a major older, right? He was 37. He won the Australian in 1972. What's interesting is men 30 or older have won each of the last 6 Grand Slam titles. So while Roger's been killing it right now, the old guys, and I'm doing air quotes now, have been pretty successful at the Grand Slams.
Yeah, it doesn't really bode well for the future of tennis at the current moment.
Well, that's true and that's not true. I mean, look, but the guys that are winning it at 30 are Rafa Nadal, who has 14 majors, I think. And Andy Murray and Novak Djokovic. So those guys are, I mean, the reason the young guys aren't winning, this may be the best group of veteran tennis players we've ever seen play together, you know? And you have some of these young guys like Misha Zverev and
see, we don't know him though. That's the thing. You know him. You do Wimbledon. Yeah. You're into the. We don't. The casual fan
You're
tennis
right. You're
wants
absolutely right.
has no idea who those people are. Who you just said. They know the four you started with.
Correct.
And those guys are the ones on the coming to that 18th, 19th hole of their career.
Exactly. You worry about what the collective exhale for the sport looks like when these names, and there are a lot of them that we're going to talk about today that are aging superstars still at the top of their sport. What the world looks like when they leave in each sport.
Because on the women's side, you have some of the younger women the
Absolutely.
U.S. women that are up and coming that you are knowing of now.
Absolutely. So it was all the semifinals and the finals of the U.S. Open was 4 women.
Right.
It was Madison Keys, Sloane Stephens,
right.
Coco Vandeweghe, and Venus. So it was an amazing thing. And by the way, we should congratulate Caroline Wozniacki, who won the women's Australian Open title on Saturday, first major of her career.
Isn't it always 4 women in the semifinals?
Four American women.
Four
American
American
women.
Oh,
I didn't say American. That was my bad. Well, he was alluding to it, so I did. No, I messed it up. There were 4 American women. And you're right.
It's amazing.
There are always 4 women.
And Stanczyk's the one that told Mike to say it's so easy to sit behind the glass and judge, isn't it?
It's so easy to drive in the morning, listen to someone else's radio show, and criticize their pronunciation of assuage.
Who would ever do that? I would never assuage you like that.
No.
So
we need to hit a
by
button.
the way, I know I couldn't find it. It's not there. It's not there
I saw
anymore.
you looking over at the board.
Like, where is
no.
It wasn't there.
It's all gone so
But by the way,
poorly.
we are stealing something from you later on.
Yes,
today.
we
We'll
are.
talk about that.
Off the top.
You mentioned aging superstars. Tiger Woods finished an even par round on Sunday and 3 under for the tournament at the Farmers Insurance Open. It's his first 4-round, his first 4 rounds at an official worldwide event for the first time since the 2015 Wyndham Championship.
And you want to talk about a hold your breath and have everybody looking off the tee.
Yep.
Dude, I mean, his first round he hit 8 of 14 fairways, and every other day he hit 3.
Yeah,
3 of 14, 17 fairways off the tee, his fewest in any PGA Tour event in which he completed all 4 rounds. But you know what? You drive for show and you putt for dough, and he was hitting his putts. He was absolutely hitting his putts yesterday or throughout the weekend. But, let's also give it up to Jason Day and Alex Noren. They're still playing.
Right.
They played 5
playoff holes yesterday? Yeah.
And who was I forgot the third now.
Ryan Palmer.
Palmer started with him. He was out on the first extra hole. They went 5, darkness hit in. They're going to finish it today. But those two are, it's kind of like, Happy Gilmore. Everybody's talking about Tiger and, here's Shooter saying, What place did he come in?
Oh, yeah, dead last.
Yeah. What is this check I'm holding up here? So for Jason Day and Noren, one of those will be holding up the big check today.
Same situation as Federer, though. That's the power of Tiger Woods, where he comes back and Jason Day playing in a playoff is by the way, another guy who falls into one of the young up-and-coming stars in golf, up-and-coming, pretty established stars, the young group of which we have in golf. Right. That all still get pushed to the side when T. Gray gets back into the mix.
And the golf purists will be out there. Why are you focusing on him? He wasn't winning. I get all that. Look at the crowds that were following Tiger.
Exactly right.
And look at the crowds that were following
They were way
else.
bigger than the crowds following the leader. So it's just the way it is, gang. And and wait till you see ratings as well.
That's exactly right. You just want that. You want that hit. You want to believe. Mm-hmm. Look, the most important thing for Tiger is that he didn't wince once. He was able to practice after every round and get out there and feel like it's sort of possible again. And the most important thing, look, yesterday was a really tough day on the course. The wind picked up and it was warmer, so it was very dry. At one point, he had one of the few rounds under par yesterday. For the fact that he hasn't finished a 4 round since 2015, and for him to finish in the top 25, look, that's a huge win, not only for Tiger, but for golf. And we'll see what happens going forward as he tries to get more events on his schedule leading up to, obviously, where he'll be in April, which would be the Masters.
Off the top.
NBA, ladies and gentlemen, in Cleveland, it's called a winning streak. The Cavs defeated the Pistons 121-104. First back-to-back wins since December 16th and 17th for the Cavs.
Yeah, but of course it comes with somebody still pouting after it.
Sniping.
Isaiah Thomas did not play a single second of the fourth quarter. Basically, LeBron was in there with some of the second unit guys, and they were just rolling. So Ty Lue's plan is kind of go with some of the hot hands while he's trying the different rotations. Going into the fourth quarter, after the third, Isaiah Thomas had 22 more touches Then LeBron James, 77-55, but then LeBron got 31 in the fourth quarter. But Isaiah wasn't real happy about not being around in the fourth quarter, but a lot of it was on rhythm, and this is something they kind of have to get figured out, and that's what they're doing as the regular season rolls on.
Isaiah Thomas has bristled a lot lately, and I get it. You're the new guy. Like, he tried that strategy of blame Kevin Love when you come in as the new guy and get blamed for the defense that was bad before you got there, or people criticizing your shot selection that they knew coming in, but that many more touches than the best guy on the team. I don't care what your game is. When you come to Cleveland or any LeBron James team, you understand you take a back seat to that dude. And so if I'm Ty Lue, if that means I have to physically remove him from the court to make that happen, that's what you do, because nothing I've seen from IT has said, oh yeah, you're good enough to warrant that right now.
Yeah, and the other side of that could be as well from the Rockets with Harden and Chris Paul. They do well when each are on the court alone as well. So as you can do that. They're on together at times, but alone as well at times, like LeBron and Isaiah Thomas are, that can help that team.
By the way, isn't that why Kyrie's in Boston? Because in Cleveland,
yes,
it's that dude and it's LeBron James, and that's why Kyrie wanted to get out. Look, I'm sure that as a competitor, you want to be there. You're winning. Stop. You're winning.
Well, that's what he did say that. He said, hey, the important thing is it's not like he got in front of the microphone and lost his mind. He said, we won the game. That's the important thing. The second unit with LeBron, they were playing well. They were in a groove. But there's no doubt, the competitive nature in you says, I want to be out there when things are going on.
Good for Ty Lue to look. He said there were going to be changes. He's trying everything he can possibly do with this lineup. And I thought Adrian Wojnarowski said it best. Look, he's coaching like guys not afraid to get fired or thinking he's going to get fired.
And that's not a small thing in this day and age when there are such big contracts on the line for these coaches, when job security is not always at a premium, especially in the NBA. To coach not scared is something that we shouldn't take for granted.
Especially when in the NBA, more than any other sport, the players always have all the power. The dynamic is completely different than, say, in every other sport.
Off the top.
And we finish up off the top. Don't miss a college basketball doubleheader this evening on ESPN. First up, fourth-ranked Duke hosts Notre Dame at 7 Eastern, with the Blue Devils looking to avoid their first back-to-back losses this season. Then at 9 Eastern, number 5 Kansas versus Kansas State. The Jayhawks are averaging almost 84 points a game, on pace for their most under Bill Self and the most since the 2001-2 Final Four team.
Yeah, Kansas State is trying to get its second win over a top 5 opponent. They beat number 4 Oklahoma earlier on. It'd be the first time since the 89-90 season that they had multiple wins over top 5 teams. And listen, Duke and Notre Dame, Marvin Bagley III, he is such a ball to watch what he does. And for Notre Dame, what they were 13-3, they lost 5 straight. Injuries they're dealing with as well. Not to sit there and use that as an excuse, because Duke's an excellent team, but it has not been going well for the Irish, missing some of their players.
No, but Notre Dame, since joining the ACC, has been a thorn in the side for the teams from the state of North Carolina. But for them this year, Mike Bray always does a good job making chicken salad out of not always the greatest chicken. In South Bend, you understand the limitations.
Way to move that around.
Exactly.
Not the greatest chicken.
Exactly. But you understand the limitations there. But down their top 3 scorers at this point because of injury, there's just some point for every team where you reach that threshold where it's too much to overcome.
What was the note over the weekend? What, Duke and North Carolina lost home games on the same day for the first time since like the Mesozoic era?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
45.
Yeah,
Mesozoic era, 45 years. Thursday, February 1st. It's
all the same thing. When you think about it.
Call those synonyms.
There you go. But not homonyms. That's a different thing
entirely.
Did you
say cinnamon? Like cinnamon toast?
There it is. There it is. Food.
Where?
With food at 6:16.
We're good. That?
No, we'll get some, though.
Okay.
We'll get some. We'll get some cinnamon buns for for the big man. And that's what everybody's talking about.
They are.
Brought to you by Dave & Buster's. Dave & Buster's. Watch the games and play the games only at Dave & Buster's. And we're going to play a game.
Yes, we are.
This weekend in Minneapolis, Super Bowl 52. We are here. It is Super Bowl week again. We're leaving tomorrow, Wednesday through Friday. Our show will be from the Mall of America, the Hard Rock Cafe.
Yes, Mall of America.
Are you going to be all right with that? Because we're at the Hard Rock Cafe, which is a restaurant inside the Mall of America, right next to Radio Row, which is in a food court.
I'm going to eat well.
I'm going to say, are you going to make it to the end of the week?
I'm going to. I plan on working out while I'm there to kind of, not to work out to gain anything.
Yeah.
The workout will just to be to level off what else I'm going to do to my body. I'm
really hoping they open up the Sbarro in the food court at about 5 a.m. when I'm finishing first and last and coming over to you guys.
If you think about it, they should, because who is more of a slothy eating bunch than Radio Guys. That's
Oh,
true,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
And that food court could make $1 bazillion this week if they just open up early.
Radio guys and radio listeners who will be
yeah.
there
Absolutely.
coming to the show.
Nom, 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 nom.
How about it?
You're
Yeah.
right. It's practical business. It's like I've always said, I don't understand why more fast food places around college campuses aren't open 24 hours on the weekends, because you make money off drunk college kids the same way you'd make money off bleary-eyed radio hosts and patrons.
Just like give me some cheap energy to fuel me for another 2 hours of Jimmy and the Sports Nuts.
How
You know
about
what
it?
I
But
mean?
how great is it? We can talk about a game now. We can actually
Yes.
get ready to break down this game a little bit. Eagles and Patriots.
And who knows it better than Tom Brady, who was there for the 8th time?
It's pretty overwhelming, actually. And I've been fortunate to play in the game, so I think it's just I know the pace of the week, and I think the important thing is you can't say yes to everything. You can only do so much, and the way you remember the week is by winning the game. So it's not about, where you can go or what you can do. For me, it's about, what I need to do to study and prepare and be as prepared as I can be mentally and physically so I can be the best I can be for the most important game of the year.
That sounds about right.
Well, it does. And oh, by the way, as he said, he has a lot of experience to lean on. And that line is so true about the experience. The whole idea is to win the game. That's what's going to make it a good experience. I don't hear many players from losing Super Bowl teams that say, yeah, but it was still a great experience. Now, I would still like to go even if I'm going to lose. But you don't hear many, just going on and on about, boy, what a great experience it was, and we lost. The whole thing that sets the tone for your experience is if you win the game or not.
Exactly. It's a little bit too important to everyone involved, and you understand, even if you haven't been here before, at this point you start to feel, man, we've put a lot into this season. You see all the eyes are on you, and you realize you're the only show in town now. So with all that comes that heightened sense of awareness where if you're Tom Brady, your heart rate doesn't really pick up. Right. You saw there, this is about as matter-of-fact as it gets for that guy, almost to the point where you feel like in that he's bored, like he's trying to invent new things to say, because he's given the same answer for so long, because for them it's been the model of consistency.
And for whatever you think about experience, the Eagles have 6 players on their team that have Super Bowl experience. The Patriots, 35.
Yeah.
Obviously.
A little different.
A little bit different. For wherever that goes once the game starts, is I as a lot of people are saying who have played in that game, and Damian Woody will be one of them when we talk to him later, is once I think you start the game, they say as soon as you make it like a game, it's a game. It's got to be that prep. Just as Tom said, you can't say yes to everything. At some point, I'd imagine these guys have to turn those phones off for everything that's going on over the last 2 weeks. And I would imagine for the inexperienced, it'd be more about the prep in those 2 weeks than the actual game itself.
Yeah, and 2 of those 6 for the Eagles were there with the Patriots last year.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
LeGarrette Blount and
right,
Chris Long.
Right.
But you're right. That's the thing. The hardest part is to realize it's not just another game, but it is a game you have to prepare for like it is. You have to accept the reality of what it is and then try and focus on what is the most important thing. I mean, Troy Aikman once said, he said all week before his first Super Bowl, it's just fine, it's just fine. And then he said he almost passed out and hyperventilated during the Star Spangled Banner. I mean, it just, you try and do all these things. You cannot tell yourself it's just another game, but you have to prepare for it like it's a game, understanding the craziness that goes around it. And we'll be part of that craziness.
Yes, we will.
Starting on Wednesday, we're looking forward to that. Lots more on the Super Bowl as the Eagles flew into Minneapolis last night. The Patriots get in this afternoon. Coming up, we talked about the Grammys.
Yep.
Bruno Mars, Kendrick Lamar, big winners. Mm-hmm. But they may not be the people who actually won the weekend. The big man dove deep and delved and found the name of the guy you need to know who actually walked away as the winner of the weekend on Saturday and Sunday. We'll get into that later. 24 Karat Magic, Record of the Year and Album of the Year.
God, it's so much better than Justin Timberlake.
Gold Wingo at ESPN Radio and ESPN2, presented by Progressive Insurance. All phone guests on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. But see, the one thing I love about the Grammys more than anything else.
What's that?
It gets everybody to really think they understand the difference between Song of the Year, Record of the Year, and Album of the Year.
Yeah.
Gets you every time.
Yeah, I need serious explanation on that stuff.
I've been through this a million times. I think Song of the Year is a single hit.
Okay, song I get. What
record
and
of
album?
The Year is the album, and Album of the Year See, I can't figure it
Song's
out.
the easy one. It's record and
need
Mike,
like,
do you know this?
You need like the blackjack table card version of this that tells all the old people when to hit and stay.
Yeah, what is record and album?
Isn't record of the
know.
year the actual like written produced portion of it?
Right.
So record of the year is like who is like the writing credit on the song and everything else.
Album of the year.
Album of the year is the actual album of the year is the actual performer's entire album.
Okay.
Song of the year is the individual.
Song is
single.
easy. That's
Song,
the easy one.
Record is the record is the people that put it together, and the album is the actual artist.
Correct.
We'll
yeah.
go with that. Let's go with that.
It's not always the same because sometimes the artist is the person who wrote the song, sometimes it's not. So that's where the discrepancy comes in.
All right. Makes sense.
Drives me crazy.
Even if it's not true, it makes sense.
I was about to say, as long as you say it with conviction.
That's exactly right.
And we'll get into some things that people said with conviction a little later on this show. But it was funny. One of the things that happens when you do a show like this is suddenly you have conversations off the air that you realize those would be really good conversations on the air. And we had a little bit about the Grammys in the last segment. And that got all three of us talking about the first concerts we ever went to.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a great discrepancy there between the three of us on their first concert. You want to lead us off on your first concert?
Yeah, so my first concert ever was the Project Revolution tour back in the day. The headliner was Linkin Park. The other acts on it were Snoop Dogg and Korn.
With a K.
Yes, with a
hard K.
I think it was a backwards K, actually. Or no, it was a backwards R, normal K.
Right.
But yeah, that crowd, had an interesting smell to it.
Yes, it did.
And a lot of different types of people. It was a very diverse audience. It was a cool scene. I saw some things for the first time in that setting that as a young man were an important part of the process. But yeah, it was an interesting group.
How old were you?
I was in seventh grade. You, me, and Jake went to that concert. I was a big Linkin Park fan back in the day. Linkin Park.
What about you?
I don't know how the dude from Linkin Park screams as long as he does.
Yeah.
It was just always amazing.
Yeah, no, it was a gift, yeah. How about Jonathan Davis from Korn, also gifted vocalist, and Snoop Dogg. I mean, who does it better than Snoop?
Well, that's exactly right.
Little Korn for you in the background, right there.
Oh yeah,
7th grade Mike Golick Jr. jamming to this.
There was a great mashup of this with "Lean With It, Rock With It," called "Coming Undone With It." Back when mashups between alt metal and hip hop artists were a thing.
Look at you go.
By the way, here's the official definition: Record of the Year is awarded for a single on one track from an album. This award goes to the performing artist, the producer, the recording engineer, and or mixer for that song. In this sense, record means a particular recorded song, not its composition of an album of songs.
Okay, gotcha.
So there you go. It's one's like almost a technical award.
Gotcha.
Do you remember your first concert?
It was locally. It was Jimmy Buffett.
Nice.
Jimmy Buffett.
That makes all the sense in the world. Your first concert.
Go sitting on the lawn, Jimmy Buffett, and just
Parrot Head.
There you go. It's exactly right.
My first concert was The Who in Madison Square Garden in the 70s. I was a young kid, and to your point, it was a very eye-opening experience.
Right? Like,
for a lot of reasons. I mean, I'm like, this is amazing! Look at what they're doing!
People do this?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, people are really open with drug use at concerts. It is amazing.
Not only that, like, they played one song, and then Pete Townshend, the lead singer, got up there and said, "It's great to be back in bleeping New York." And I was like, oh, I can't believe he just said that.
I'm learning so much.
I was like, I am never leaving this place. It is wonderful.
And more along our lines, Trey, you and I have grouped last night with U2 and Sting. Sting was really good last night in the Grammys. 66 years old.
Good for him.
Sting. Nice job out of him.
Yeah, I feel like all those fall more into like we were talking about the Dave Matthews concert experience for people like myself and and Stanzik and everyone's age.
Dude, you going to Dave?
Around Connecticut, that was the coming of age. That was the first place I ever heard of someone getting shot with a rubber bullet. I mean,
well, that's a rite of passage for anyone.
That was a rite of passage.
Your first rubber bullet shot.
I saw a 20-person fight that included multiple glass bottles getting broken over a guy's head.
Okay. Nice. It
was a lot. Devin over there was 10 when he first went to see Dave with his brother. That concert smelled funny.
Well, most concerts tend to have a certain
they certainly do.
Verbal mist.
They do.
By the way, the draft last year in Philadelphia, none of us would have passed the test.
Oh, really? Second-hand highs in the city of brotherly love.
It was quite
the
celebration.
So if you walked off the stage, they said, Trey, we need a sample. You'd have gone,
tomorrow. No. Give me some time.
Are you doing hair or pee? Because we could have an issue here.
It was quite impressive. So the reason we're bringing up the Grammys, obviously Kendrick Lamar and Bruno,
right?
Big winners this weekend.
Yes.
But Mike, you found someone who topped both of them.
This is, we had the Pro Bowl, which we'll talk about, I guess, to a point. I just hear again people ripping the Pro Bowl. My thought is, then don't watch it.
Yeah.
But the kind of football it is. But there was another All-Star weekend. It was the NHL All-Star weekend, which, by the way, I love the skills challenge in that as well. But you want to talk about the winner? The winner from All-Star weekends? It was a rookie who plays for the Vancouver Canucks, Brock Boeser. Brock Boeser was the only rookie on the rosters. And in the game, he was the MVP. He was the MVP of the All-Star game.
Winner.
So here's what he won through the weekend. We'll go from the bottom up. He won in the skills competition. He won the accuracy contest. So he won himself $25,000.
Okay, $25,000.
All right? $25,000. His team won the All-Star game, so he won $100,000.
So now we're 125.
We're at $125,000. Yep. He was the MVP, so he got a car.
Okay, let's say the car is at least $50,000.
There you go.
At least 50, maybe.
And
more. I'm gonna get 75.
And it triggered a $212,500 bonus in his contract.
Jiminy Christmas!
What a win! $212,000, $125,000, and a car.
I'm going to say that's about a $412,000 weekend
for the rookie.
Not bad.
That's impressive.
That is. But by the way, he won all that.
Yeah,
and he becomes our MVP moment of the week.
Well,
brought to you by Sport Clips.
Yeah.
Check in online at sportclips.com/check-in and claim your spot today.
Way to go, Brock! And I'm not going to lie.
Good.
I have not heard of many hockey players named Brock. Not going to lie. I have just happened.
That's true.
If you go again, my generation, if you go word association with the name Brock, he's the guy defending the second gym in the original Pokemon game.
And for in the real world, for real people live.
Yeah.
Jeez. Brock Lesnar, is it's a real person.
I mean, listen, if you want to go
real human being.
I mean, why are you leaving out the foremost Brock, the Brockweiler, Brock Jesus,
the
Brock
Brock-tagon?
Osweiler, yeah,
sure. Rocky Top,
the Brock-tagon.
I Brock the Sheriff,
our own Brock Heward,
absolutely.
Yep. Uh-huh.
Brock Marion, former Cowboy safety, number 31.
I just have not heard of a lot of hockey players named Brock.
And Brock sounds like a really good hockey name.
It does.
Right?
Doesn't
it's a real
Brock
beauty.
sounds like a really good hockey name.
Brock is getting a puck to the face and he's not missing a second.
Great lettuce too, by the way.
Brock
solid blonde
hair.
flow.
Yeah.
By the way, you ever see that the one website comes out with the ultimate lacrosse names everre year?
Oh,
that's
no.
one of the greatest lists of
the
all time.
all-name team.
Oh my gosh, they are, and having known guys that played lacrosse. My son played lacrosse a little bit. All his friends. I'm like, yeah, these names make all the sense in the world. All the sense in the world.
We're just being told there are 3 Brocks in the NHL.
Really?
3 Brocks.
Well, no one had a better one
including
than Brock.
Brock Boeser. Brock, congrats to you, Brock.
You won the
Boeser.
weekend.
You
Hero with the
absolutely
bank.
did. Yep.
Nicely done, Brock. All right. There was, by the way, $100K to win the NHL All-Star game.
Yes.
I think the NFL needs to step it up.
You would think so.
64 for the winner, 32 for the loser.
Yep.
Dude, if you don't win, that's a losing week for you.
Yeah, it is.
Because like Patrick Peterson bought 40 family members?
Yeah, you're losing
that
on the
hotel
bill. Yeah.
32 ain't covering it.
No, it's not.
Yeah. No chance,
The
no
pool,
way.
The pool bar bill alone.
No, that's exactly right. That needs to be addressed. Get on that, NFLPA. Gold and Wingo with you. ESPN Radio, ESPN2. By the way, the Eagles arrived Sunday in Minneapolis. They spent an entire Sunday night exploring the Mall of America.
That was their night, huh?
That was their night. We're doing our show from there. I'm kind of excited. I've never been to the Mall.
Oh, you
of
haven't?
America. I've never been.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Never been. Have you been?
Oh, yeah. Been there. Sydney had a
for sure.
Sydney swam there, had a Grand Prix meet there, and so we went there, went to the Mall of America.
And were you impressed?
Oh, yeah. There's a
roller coaster in there.
There's a
log
ride.
We're actually going to be doing the roller coaster.
There's
We're
a
going to do the roller coaster
zip
for
line.
NFL
Stanzik and I
Live.
are going to do the zip
I'm
line.
doing the zip line. I mean,
I want in on the zip line. Can we get all in on the zip line here?
it's.
I don't know. You might be doing the roller coaster.
I can do both. I can't do
if you're
both.
busy.
The zip line doesn't only allow Stanzik and my son. You're allowed to go on it.
I want to be part of the fun.
There might be an age limit. You might have to be under 50.
Oh, shut up, Stanzik.
The Mall of America
you
is a
might
very
have to be over
ageist place.
5'3" for you to get on.
Whoa!
They say Stanzik's
I'm like
a relative.
5'11".
Yeah, I was just going to say.
But see, no one knows that. See that you're sitting down. You look wee. So I can get away with that.
We can
when
say,
are you guys going to go? I want to go. Can I play? Can I play?
Yeah, we'll let you know.
Let me know. Let me know.
No,
let me
yeah,
know.
well, we'll
I want to go.
We'll shoot you a text before we go.
what a child you are.
Well, that's true.
Stanzik, we're going Friday, right? Yeah.
All right,
we'll see you there.
We're stealing from your show again and setting up this question. We have it at Golick and Wingo. We'll tweet it out to ours as well. Because Monday after the Super Bowl is a very difficult day. You go ahead and set it up since we're stealing from you. So go ahead.
Yeah, so Monday after the Super Bowl is a crippling hangover for most people in almost every sense of the word. And so we asked this morning because the only other holiday we could come up with that was even close to the level of gravity and celebration was the 4th of July. So we asked, would you rather have Super Bowl Monday off or the 5th of July off to recover from both of the events of the day before?
And so we stole it from you, and right now 57% of the people are saying Monday after the Super Bowl. I think I'm going July 5th.
Yeah,
because
I am too.
Understand something. Now, Super Bowl Monday is Super Bowl Monday. The Super Bowl is on a Sunday. That's not going to change. July 4th, the day changes. So when it's in during the week, if it's on a weekend, this all changes. But if it's during the week, if you got July 5th off, you get 2 days. You're off July 4th, and then you would get the 5th. So you get 2 days off if it's during the week as opposed to just 1 day because you're off anyway on Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah, I understand that. I think there's just part of me that looks at seasonally. Like in the summer, I don't know if, like, while I maybe want the days off more, I think I need them more in the winter based on location, especially around here when that permacloud sets in, you get a little seasonal depression mixed in on top of things. That extra day off can be a lifesaver.
See, for that reason, I hear you, but for that reason alone, I would rather have it in July so I could get outside and not feel like I'm walking around outside the Mall of America. You know, in 4 degrees. It's going to be like a high of like 10.
Going to be cold
on Sunday.
Going to be cold.
So I would rather have the day off where I can actually enjoy it outside. Because there's a large portion of the country, or a large population of the country, where it's much nicer to have a day off in July than it is in February.
And it can bite you.
Including here.
It can bite you because July 4th could be a Friday, so July 5th would be a Saturday. You'd have it off anyway, so you're rolling the dice a little more.
It is definitely a mixed bag. There's no doubt about that. There's advantages to both. One thing that you can't dispute, those are about the only two. Maybe you could throw Thanksgiving in there as well, where it's comparable levels of how much I'm eating, how much I'm drinking, and how much I'm carrying on.
So since we're going to lose you, we got a couple minutes left. Pro Bowl was yesterday. ASC comes back from 17 down. They win it. Delaney Walker's the offensive MVP, Von Miller the defensive MVP. You have a way you think you can make this a better show for the weekend, from the skills challenge to the game. What would make it better?
Yeah, it'll be the most competitive environment in all-star sports. It's a 5-on-5 pickup basketball game. There is no activity that football players enjoy more than showing you how good they are at basketball. I kid you not, we used to sit in the Notre Dame locker room, and I would listen to Kyle Rudolph and Michael Floyd and all our guys that were good basketball players in high school. Some of them had offers. Talk about how if we took a starting 5 from our football team, we could beat the starting 5 from the scholarship Notre Dame basketball team that was brought there to play basketball. That's the kind of confidence you're dealing with. I've seen pickup games involving guys in off seasons where you go to these big places to train and they get hyper competitive because every guy wants you to know how good he is at this sport that he doesn't play every day.
It's a great point. It is one of the most competitive things because every football player thinks they're a really good basketball player. Every single one of them.
There's a Patriot team that plays, and they do Fox.
Yep, we used to do that when I was in Philly. We go around and play.
To your point about hyper competitiveness, Brady and them were playing, and they were losing in the third quarter. Brian Hoyer told this story on a piece that we did about Brady's backups, and Brady got them all together and said, "Listen to you bleepity bleeps. We're not losing to a bunch of firemen and police departments." And they were down by 10. They went out and scored 30 points in the fourth quarter.
It's competitive.
And went on to win.
So you're saying make it a 5-on-5 at the Pro Bowl, pick 5, get 10 guys, have a game.
Yep.
That would be competitive.
Roll the ball out there and put the same amount of money on the line. I'm telling you, these guys will go to work.
I would fear injury in that
televise the draft.
They would play that basketball game harder than they play the football game, no doubt about it.
Until they realize the hotel bill may be coming. Yeah. That was Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless, nationwide's coverage on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks. Coming up, the new head football coach of the New York Giants, Pat Shurmur, will join us. Golic and Wingo.
Hello, I'd like to deposit this to checking.
Fate is a fickle master.
What?
The future is uncertain.
Okay, and what's my account balance?
The horizon is cloudy. I see a long, treacherous voyage filled with great peril.
Look, can I just get a deposit slip or something?
A Fortune bank teller. Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
I see a yellow-eyed serpent and a low APR.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.